Hello everyone and welcome back to my YouTube channel Forensic Classroom. I hope all of you are doing well. If you have been following my channel, we have already completed our playlist on the fundamentals of forensic science and crime scene investigation. Now it's time to begin another exciting journey as we start our complete playlist on forensic biology and serology. Now, this course has been designed for everyone, whether you are a BSc student, an MSc student, or if you're preparing for UGC NET, or you're simply someone who wants to understand forensic science in depth. Throughout this playlist, we'll begin with the absolute basics and gradually move towards advanced topics. So without wasting any more time, let's begin with the most fundamental question. What is forensic biology? Now, whenever we come across a new scientific term, it's always helpful to break it into smaller parts. Now, the term forensic biology consists of two words. We have forensics and biology. Now, the word forensics is derived from the Latin word forensis, which simply means before the forum. In ancient Rome, the forum was a public place where legal matters and disputes were discussed. Today, the word forensic simply refers to the application of science to matters related to law and legal investigation. The second word, biology, is the branch of science that deals with living organisms and everything that's associated with life. So when we combine these two words, forensic biology simply means the application of biological sciences to legal investigation. Now, if I give you the textbook definition, it would be something like this. Forensic biology is the branch of forensic science that applies biological principles and laboratory techniques to examine the biological evidences for legal purposes. But let's simplify that definition because understanding is far more important than just memorizing the definition. Now, imagine the investigators, they recover a reddish stain basically on a shirt that you found at the crime scene. Now, can they immediately conclude that it is human blood? Absolutely not. Now, before reaching any conclusion, there are several questions that need to be answered, like, is the stain actually blood, or could it be paint, could it be rust, or any other some red substance? Or if it is blood, is it of human origin or animal origin? Or is there enough biological material present for the DNA analysis? Or, can it help us establish a connection between the victim, the suspect, and the crime scene? Now, answering all these questions is the responsibility of a forensic biologist. So forensic biology is much more than simply performing DNA tests. It is the scientific examination and interpretation of biological evidence so that reliable conclusions can be presented during an investigation and, if required, in a court of law. Now, this naturally brings us to another important question. What exactly is biological evidence? Now, as the name suggests, biological evidence refers to any material that originates from a living organism and it has the potential to provide useful information during an investigation. Now, most people immediately think of blood, and yes, blood is one of the most commonly biological samples that is encountered in forensic investigation. However, forensic biology extends far beyond blood. It also includes semen, saliva, hair, skin cells, bones, teeth, nails, soft tissues, muscles, organs, urine, feces, vomit, menstrual blood, vaginal secretions, and many other biological materials. In fact, biological evidence is not always visible to the naked eye. Think about something as simple as, when you're drinking water from a bottle. Now, after taking a sip, you unknowingly leave behind microscopic saliva and epithelial cells around the rim of the bottle. Similarly, every time you touch your mobile phone, a door handle, or when you even shake someone's hand, you shed your tiny skin cells. Although these skin cells are invisible, they may contain DNA, making them valuable pieces of forensic investigation. Now, this is why investigators are trained to carefully collect and preserve even the smallest biological traces found at the crime scene. So now that we know what forensic biology deals with, let's understand its primary objectives. The first objective is to detect biological evidence that's recovered during an investigation. Once the evidence has been detected, the next step is to identify the type of biological material, for example, whether the stain is blood, saliva, semen, or any other body fluid. In many cases, it is also important to determine whether the biological sample is of human origin or animal origin. Whenever possible, the forensic biologists recover DNA from these samples for further analysis. They then interpret their findings, they prepare scientific reports, and they provide objective conclusions that may assist investigators and the judicial system. Now, notice that I use the word objective here. Now, the role of forensic biologist is not to prove that someone is guilty or innocent. Their responsibility is to examine the evidence scientifically and present accurate findings. The final decision always rests with the court. Now, many students have a misconception that a forensic biologist spends the entire day performing the DNA test in the lab. In reality, DNA analysis is only one part of the job. A forensic biologist may examine biological evidences that are received from the crime scene. They perform screening and confirmatory tests. They identify different body fluids. They determine species origin whenever it's necessary. They extract and analyze DNA. They compare the DNA profiles, they interpret laboratory findings, they prepare their reports, they also maintain proper documentation, they also ensure quality control and even appear in the court as an expert witness to explain the scientific findings. Now, in other words, a forensic biologist combines the knowledge of biology, laboratory science, analytical thinking, and the legal procedures to help uncover the truth. Now, before we end our today's session, I would like to clarify one point that often confuses beginners. Now, many people use the term forensic biology and forensic serology interchangeably, but they're not exactly the same. Forensic biology is a broad discipline that deals with all types of biological evidences, whereas forensic serology is a specialized branch within the forensic biology that primarily focuses on identification and examination of body fluids. Now, we will understand this distinction much more clearly in our next lecture. So in the next video, we will begin our discussion on forensic serology. We'll understand what forensic serology is, how it differs from forensic biology, and why body fluid identification is often the first step before DNA analysis. If you found today's lecture helpful, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to my channel, Inain's Forensic Classroom, and share this playlist with your friends. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next lecture. Till then, take care. Bye-bye.